Okay. Soman, you look very nice today.
I've been on the toilet for 3 days and I feel like shit. Hey, I'm Soman.
And I'm Jun.
And I have stomach flu, and welcome to Evernever TV.
It's making me so sad to listen to you speak.
I'm trying to fake it and pretend like I am excited to be alive. I don't know how I got sick. I was at my brother's wedding in Dallas, and I started to feel very faint. And my friend Scotty, who's a goat farmer, was with us, and he's like, "You have that look that the goats get when they're about to die."
What day was it? This was after the big clip dropped, right?
Yes. So maybe it was just all the excitement from the clip got too chaotic in my system.
How was it on the day of the release of the Netflix trailer?
Okay, so this is the funny thing. June knows that, like, usually when I get back from tennis, I do most of my emails in the bathtub.
And calls, and I'll know because someone will call and there'll be like the echo of a bathtub.
It's a bathtub echo. But like that morning, the clip dropped while I was in the bathtub, and I was like, I should get out. But all the emails were coming, and I spent, I think, 3.5 hours in the bathtub. And every time it would get cold, I would just put in boiling hot water just to make it just warm enough. But anyway, the footage was amazing. We can talk about it a little, right?
Yeah. So number one, we have Agatha with the sword, obviously. That's like the most iconic hero shot.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about its context and anything like that, but I think what was really cool is when I was on set, everyone was very excited about that shot. Predominantly because it's not a CGI shot, you know, it's a real shot that was done through Paul Feig's magic. And a lot of people have been like, is that Excalibur? Is that Excalibur? I mean, I think that's a healthy and safe bet. But yeah, that was as real as it could be.
Following that, of course, we had Hester briefly in a violet dress hurling a fireball that maybe is some creature, potentially?
Maybe is a creature, and why is she wearing that outfit?
The sugar plum dress.
Why is her hair like the way it is? I mean, there's all these questions about that shot. It's majestic, and I remember that day too when Freya was in that outfit, and I was just like, oh, and
I love it. Was like young Bellatrix Lestrange.
I think Bellatrix is one thing, but the way Freya plays Hester is like Bellatrix amped to 1,000.
Oh my god. So we had those two character portraits. Then I was like, okay, so that was great. That was like more than I was even expecting. But that wasn't even the end of the School for Good and Evil clips, because then you cut to this insane shot of the two skulls with a stem flapping into the frame.
Yeah. I mean, I think the stem was one of the early things that Paul worked on. First time I saw it, I remember like my heart erupted out of my chest. It's just stunning. And that shot of the schools, I mean, there the schools were. You know, once upon a time, they were just words on a page, stem flying these two girls towards the school. So that was the shot that I think that made me the most emotional, because at the end of the day, that's kind of where the story begins.
And here is the great big world. And every night is movie night.
The whole Netflix trailer for 2022 concludes with Lady Lesso and Professor Dovey talking to camera.
I mean, it was just the proof that it's one of their biggest movies of this year, really, you know, to get that kind of showcase. And that's a tribute, of course, to Paul being one of the best directors in the world and being able to assemble this cast and this scale. And so, you know, we're thankful to him and the actors that are in it and Netflix, because they're the greatest studio on earth. This is a movie really for all audiences. And that's, I think, was the goal of both of the books and of the movies, is to create something from, you know, ages 8 to 88. Everybody could watch it together.
And the fan reaction has been overwhelming.
I mean, listen, there's something very different about the School for Good and Evil fandom. Sometimes fandoms in advance of a movie coming out can get a little possessive in order to claim the original source material. But I always get the sense that School for Good and Evil fans are pumped for this movie, that there's this understanding that the books are the books and the movie's going to be the movie, and let's have this incredible, fantastic experience of both, you know. And you're going to have the movie version that you can share with your friends and your family, and you're going to have your own version that you made when you read the books in your head, you know, and those can coexist and you can be happy with both. And I think that's what's going to make this so special, is it's truly a celebration, you know. Also, what's cool is we're going to have fans intimately involved in the rollout. You know, I promised that we'd have some movie ambassadors creating this ability for fans to have more exclusive access to the School for Good and Evil cinematic world. And we're going to be unrolling more about that in the months to come. We already have two great movie ambassadors who sort of are privy to a lot of things beforehand. So usually if Snail Jam, Jimmy Trope, or Ellie Pasquale tells you they know something, They do. Aren't they coming to New York?
Yes, in 2 weeks. So they're gonna meet for the first time IRL. A true School for Good and Evil fairy tale friendship.
These were the two OG original School for Good and Evil fans from 10 years ago. And I met them when they first started reading the books, and now they've grown up into adults, and they've become part of the School for Good and Evil world. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a movie ambassador episode where we meet them. And I hope in the future, as School for Good and Evil expands and this movie comes out, some more of you will be joining us in person at some point. So we look forward to everything to come. We're really excited for this movie. I'm excited to hydrate and sleep and get my stomach normal again.
So
what I don't understand is it was fine last week. How can something suddenly break? That was such a Sophie statement. It's such a Sophie statement.
Bye guys, see you next week.